Bonjour tout le monde, c'est moi Charlotte et aujourd'hui je vais vous parler des virelangues en français. So today we're going to talk about tongue twisters in French, some French language tongue twisters. So virelangue, so similar to the English tongue twister, something that makes your tongue twist. So virelangue, here we have the word langue, which is tongue, or a language, and vire, voila. So vire, that comes from the verb virer, which has a few meanings, but one of the meanings is to change tack or to come about. So if you're a sailor, you'll know that tacking means to turn. Okay, so this is something which makes your tongue turn. Therefore, ça peut être, par exemple, difficile à prononcer. So we're going to do a little bit of training of pronunciation, and also we'll study a little bit some of the grammar. Even if it's a little nonsensical or it doesn't have that much meaning, there's still something within each virelangue that we can take, a structure maybe that we can lift and amend for the future. So on y va. Okay, so numéro 1. Let's zoom in a little bit here. We've got le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père et tête le lait de sa mère. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit so that we can see that easily. Le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père. Okay, so this is where we're looking. Ici. Le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père et tête le lait de sa mère. So here we've got lots of little accents on E's. Okay, some of the accents go this way. Bébé, bébé de René. Okay, so we've got that E sound with the accent aigu, and then here we've got the accent grave, which is like an E sound. So where there's an accent aigu, we've got an E. Le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père. Now listen to that, père, et tête le lait de sa mère. So where there's an accent grave, like in mère, or tête, or père, then it's an E sound, a bit like the E sound in the English word egg. But in the accent aigu, the acute accent like this that goes from bottom left up to the top right, then that's an E sound, okay? So, and remember, an E in French, like the letter E, is pronounced E. So that's like in the word le, or de, or even in je, like the word I. Okay, so we've got lots of different ways of pronouncing the letter E. So this is quite useful for that on its own. Ok, encore une fois. Le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père et tête le lait de sa mère. Okay, what we also have here, sorry if my tummy's making noises, j'ai bu beaucoup de café aujourd'hui et donc c'est mon estomac qui font des bruits. Donc voilà. So what else we also have here is the AI in le lait. So le lait is milk, the milk. The A and the I sound is similar to, or almost the same as the EZ in le nez. We'll look at the meaning of this in a minute, but le nez, le lait. Le bébé. So bébé, René, le nez, le lait. All of those have a similar sort of A sound in them. So what do they mean? Let's have a look. So le bébé de René. So René has a baby, and it's le bébé de René. René's baby. That's the way that you form a possessive in French. Sometimes. So the baby of René. if it was the baby of Pierre, it would be le bébé de Pierre. Okay? Le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père. So René's baby is looking at or watches. Regarder, ir verb, to watch or to look at. Il regarde le nez de son père. Looks at his or her father's nose. Le nez de son père. So here we have again the noun. Le nez de son père. So that's like here where you've got article, noun, preposition, person. Article, noun, preposition, and then basically the person here, his or her father. So the word for baby is a masculine noun, le bébé. So son agrees with, and son agrees with the gender of the word père. So son père means his or her father, depending on the gender of the baby. But in fact, we don't know whether it's a girl or a boy. It's just the word baby which is masculine. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? So, était le lait de sa mère. So, tête here doesn't mean tête, like head. It means, it's from the verb téter, which means to suckle, like to suckle a mother's milk. Okay, so le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père et tète le lait de sa mère. So he looks at his father's nose, but he drinks his mother's milk. Le père, so the word father is masculine, which makes sense because it's a male person, and sa mère is a feminine word. It refers to his or her mother. So sa and son, even though, say the baby's a boy, when you're talking about the male baby's father, it's always going to be son père, his father. And when you talk about his mother, it's always going to be sa mère. So the word for, there isn't really a word for his in French like there is in English. Son can mean his or her, because it doesn't agree with the gender of the person who owns the thing. It agrees with the gender of the object or the person who is owned. Or so, for example, sa mère could mean his mother, but it could also mean her mother. It depends how you translate it into English. But ça agrees with la mère, the feminine word mother. Ok, on va essayer plus vite. Le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père et tète le lait de sa mère. Okay. So in there we've got how to pronounce the various E's that you come across often in French. Bébé, René, that's that A sound. And we also have the A sound in the EZ at the end of né. So any verb that ends with an EZ in the vous form, so the present tense, avez-vous, vous avez, vous savez, vous dormez, they have this EZ sound, okay? And we've got in the one below, in the second virelangue, we have an infinitive ER verb, so chasser. You could just see it, just voila. So that, là, juste ici. So the funny thing about French is the ER ending on infinitive verbs is an E sound, just as EZ is E, and E accent aigu is an E sound. Okay, we'll see a few others probably elsewhere. Let's, we also see the possessive kind of structure, the noun plus de plus name. Le bébé de René, le portable de Charlotte, la chambre de Marie, la voiture de Stéphanie, par exemple. Okay? So let's move on to number 2. So you can see this video is less about being able to say tongue twister in French, but more about looking at the structures and the pronunciation contained within the virelangue. Okay? Let's look at number 2. Numéro 2 ici. Non, ça c'est difficile, donc on va essayer, ok? Je vais essayer. Un chasseur, sachant chasser, sait chasser sans son chien. Ouh, ok. On va aller plus proche. Comme ça, un peu plus près. D'accord. Okay, so you might know this word, chasseur. In the UK, well, in various places, but I live in the UK, you might see like chicken chasseur on a menu, for example, and that might give you a clue. This is a hunter, okay? Un chasseur. So the ch, sh, like in Charlotte, ça c'est moi, Charlotte, or champagne, or champignon, or château, or chat, that's a ch is a sh sound, okay? Double s, that's a s, okay? And then the eur is an Un chasseur, sachant, okay, so we've got the swap round of the s and the ch. Chasseur, sachant. So this is the present participle of the verb savoir, okay, which you might think would be savant, but it's actually, let me just double check that actually, because, oui, yeah, I'm just going to double check, because the word savant does exist. Let me just double check, savoir. I'm just going on to word reference, because I'm just doubting something for a sec. Savoir. In fact, oui, okay. Ça va. So if ever you're in doubt of something, go on to wordreference.com and then you can look for a word or you can look for a verb and look at all the conjugations. But here I also have a verb book, my trusty little friend here, which will give you the same information. So when I looked at that, I looked and I thought, it's the present participle of savoir, which it is. Or like the gerund form, ant, which can translate into English as ing, knowing. So I looked at that and for a second I thought, hang on a minute, because the verb savoir, the root of the verb is S-A-V, okay? So for a sec I thought, savant, is it savant? Is that the present participle? But in fact it's just an irregular present participle where the root of it slightly changes, but then you have ant at the end and it sort of translates as knowing. Okay, so you can check that in a verb book like this. In fact, je vais vous montrer ce que je veux dire. Si il y a dans le livre ce verbe, c'est très probable. Savoir. Oui, present participle here. Don't know if you can see that there because I've lost the little view on my monitor, but that's it says sachant. So. J'avais raison en fait. I was right. There you go. Voilà, that's always nice. D'accord. So, un chasseur sachant chasser. So that there is the, in fact there's two. Il y en a deux. Chasser et chasser is the same word. It means to hunt. It can also mean to chase something. Okay. So ça a du sens. That makes sense, doesn't it? A hunter could put virgule. Knowing how to hunt, comma, knows how to hunt without his dog. So that's what it means. A hunter, knowing how to hunt, knows how to hunt without his dog. That's the meaning here. Ok, on y va, on continue. Un chasseur, sachant chasser, sait chasser sans son chien. Okay, so what we have here is obviously the sh sound from the C and the H, and the s sound from a double S or a single S. And then we have, which I think is useful, the verb savoir conjugated in the third person singular to agree with un chasseur. So a hunter knows how to hunt. Now in a previous video, I was looking at today actually of mine, I talk about the difference between the verb savoir, to know, and connaître. You got connaître in here somewhere? No, not in this one. So you can find my video on savoir and connaître, the difference between them. But one of the differences that might be easy to remember, when you know how to do something, like you know how to drive, I know how to swim, I know how to speak French, whatever, play the guitar, whatever it is that you know how to do, a skill or knowledge that you've acquired, you use the verb savoir, followed directly by the verb of the thing you know how to do. For example, je sais conduire, okay? Je sais dessiner. Je sais faire du ski. That's not true, really. I don't really know how to ski. I'm not very good. Je sais parler italien. Je sais nager. So, I know how to swim. I don't really know how to ski. I know how to speak Italian. I know how to drive. I know how to draw. So if you know how to do something, you don't have to say je sais comment conduire. You don't need to translate how as comment, which you might think. You just directly follow the verb savoir, which is conjugated by an infinitive verb. So a hunter knows how to hunt. Un chasseur sait chasser. Let's have a look again. Un peu plus vite, a little bit faster. Un chasseur sachant chasser sait chasser sans son chien. And then we have son and then son. So, I mean, they sound more or less the same to like a British ear, for example. Son. So son is a useful one. I think it appears in a different, let's have a look. So for those who are going to have my handout from my French club, you'll get another 5 tongue twisters with some comment and exercises. But there's another one which, number 7, I'll just read it. Simon et sa sœur Simone sautent 100 fois sans sandales sur le sable. Okay, you can look that one up if you want. Simon and his sister Simone jump 100 times without sandals on the sand. Sandal-less, sandal-free, without sandals, basically not wearing sandals. So the word sans, sometimes you might hear it in English, borrowed, you know, sans, I can't think of an example in English, but sans will be pronounced with an S at the end in English as a borrowed word from French, meaning without something. Sans son chien means without his dog. So here we've got sans, like we have sans above, and it's not sa chien because the word dog it's masculine. So son means his. In this, it's his as in a hunter, okay, a person who's hunting. This is his dog, but the word son agrees with the gender of the thing rather than the gender of the person who owns the thing. Okay, like in English you'd say his or her. In French it's either son or sa. And if it's plural, his dogs, un chasseur sachant chasser sait chasser son ses chiens. Then that would change to ses, which is the plural form. Mes, tes, ses. My plural, your plural, his, her, or one's plural. Okay, so in here we've got son and son, similar sounding, and then we've got the C and the I, sh sound with an S, which is quite difficult to go between. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, numéro 3. Okay, so we've got lots of P sounds in this one. Okay, this doesn't really make much sense, but grammatically, like it does. La poule pousse la petite poupée partout. So what we have in here, lots of P sounds. Poule pousse petite poupée partout. We've also got lots of OU sounds, which is like an OO sound. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, like a gorilla kind of sound. Ooh, 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 ooh. And let's have a look at what we have. So we've got one verb. We've got the verb pousser. Pousser, we'd like to push. And what's la poule? La poule. That might look a little bit familiar. Poule. So you might know the word poulet, chicken. Excuse-moi. Une poule is a hen. So la poule is the hen pushes or is pushing. La petite, the little, what's une poupée? poupée. There's il y a une chanson. This is like my catchphrase. There's a song, and it's called Poupée de cire. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's from like c'est une chanson des années 60 peut-être, 70. It's from the 60s or the 70s. Même peut-être les années 50, mais je crois les années 60, je crois. So there's a song from the 60s and it's called Poupée de cire, which means a wax doll. Doll, okay, like the toy. La petite poupée. So we've got that E accent aigu, and that's an E sound, as mentioned in bébé and René. And what else is interesting here? So there's only one verb, it's an ER verb, and we've got the accent, and then we've got lots of P's, but we've also got this useful word partout. Partout. So tout means, normally it means like everything or all, and then we've got par, which means by or sort of via. I don't know if that helps you, but the word on its own means everywhere. La poule pousse la petite poupée partout. So the hen pushes the little doll everywhere. Okay, ça n'a pas vraiment de sens, mais littéralement, mais grammaticalement, ça marche. That does work. Okay, now let's see if we can. I've got this new desk which goes up and down, and j'adore. Regardez, see? Ça descend comme ça. Pretty cool, huh? So I've changed my setup a little bit in here, so that helps me to just come down a little bit lower to see this. So this one I decided to add in today. I thought it was quite a useful one. So it's in the tu form, and As-tu été à Tahiti? So this one here has got, listen to it. As-tu été à Tahiti? As-tu été à Tahiti? As-tu été à Tahiti? So if you were to hear that and you weren't concentrating, you might not exactly get what it is, but as-tu is a useful form, so anyone who's learning with me how to ask questions will probably recognise that here we've got, instead of tu as, which means you have, we have as-tu, which kind of means, well, it does mean have you, and it's in the informal tu form. So what's this here? We've got a past participle from the verb être. So as-tu été? So être is to be. So this is a way of asking, have you been? Okay, like have you been to France? Have you been to, I don't know, Germany? Have you been to Paris? As-tu été à Tahiti? Tahiti? Well, it's Tahiti, isn't it? So as-tu été à Tahiti? On ne prononce pas le H. Yeah, it's quite a nice question. So if this was in the vous form, it would not be as-tu, it would be avez-vous. Avez-vous été? In fact, you might also hear a liaison between the Z at the end of avez before the E. Été, okay? If that had an L apostrophe in front of it and it was a noun, that word would mean the summer, okay? But there, as it is, following the avoir auxiliary verb and the inverted verb subject pronoun, this is A, a question, and B, a past tense. So it's have you been? Okay, you can also ask that question by saying est-ce que tu as été à Tahiti? By putting est-ce que at the beginning of it, but and then using it subject then verb. But don't worry about that for now. So let's have a look at the last one, which is one that I remember learning on my year abroad. Ouh, il y a un peu de temps. En 2006, 2007. Un peu de temps. Il y a un peu de temps. So this is one that my French friend told me. So listen to how it's said first. In fact, just regardez-moi. Qu'a bu l'âne au lac l'âne a bu l'eau. This is probably the easiest one to just practice for the fun of saying it, and probably the most complex one to sort of figure out. So, qu'a bu l'âne au lac l'âne a bu l'eau. Qu'a bu l'âne au lac l'âne a bu l'eau. Kabulan au lac lan au bureau. That one I've been saying for a while, so I find it easier to say. So it means, what does it mean? So this has a past participle. It's also a question and an answer. Again, the meaning isn't that important, it's just the sound. So bu is an irregular past participle. It's from boire. Par exemple, moi, aujourd'hui, j'ai bu beaucoup de café. J'ai bu trop de café. Mais c'est comme d'habitude, en fait. Le jeudi, je bois trop de café. Bu. What has drunk? What has drunk? So, qu'a bu? Avoir, past participle of boire. It's a bit like the past participle of voir, which is to see. Vu. Bu, vu. Okay? This que, that's short for, or the QU apostrophe is short for que, or qu'est-ce que, if you like. Qu'est-ce qu'a bu l'âne? Qu'a bu l'âne. Okay, qu'a bu l'âne. L'âne is the donkey. L'âne. Can't think of any other thing of relevance with donkeys, but qu'a bu l'âne au lac. What did the donkey drink? What has drunk the donkey? Au lac. Au lac. So here we have a combined preposition, or an articulated preposition. We have à, which is at or to, and then we have le lac, parce que lac c'est un mot masculin, c'est un nom masculin. So, qu'a bu l'âne au lac, for example, you'd say je vais au supermarché, je suis au parc, au. So that just at the, or to the. In this case, it translates into English as at the. So, what has the donkey drunk at the lake, or what did the donkey drink at the lake? And then we have the response, which is basically all the same words plus an extra one. Au lac, at the lake, the donkey has drunk or drank. Okay, remember when you use the passé composé in French, il a bu, il a vu, etc., then you can either translate it into English as a compound tense with two parts, so he has drunk, I have seen, or you can use it like a simple tense, which in English is just one word. So l'âne a bu l'eau could be translated either as the donkey drank, that's one word which makes a past tense, or it could be he has drunk, or drank. You see, there's two ways of translating the same thing, the one sentence from French into English. So it's easier when you want to make a past tense in French, because if it's he has drank, or he has drunk, or he drank, they both translate as il a bu. You see what I mean? So, on y va. I'm getting off subject. Qu'a bu l'âne au lac, l'âne a bu l'eau. So, l'eau, really useful bit of vocab there. L'eau, ça veut dire water, or the water. Remember the article le, or la, or l apostrophe, or les if it's plural, tends to come before the noun in French, whereas in English we just say he drank water. You know, and we'd only say the water if it was like specific water, as opposed to some, you know, the water, not the water over there, the water over there, you know. But in French you tend to use the articles. So let's have a little think. Well, let's just go over them one more time. And I should say, I suppose, in the qu'a bu l'âne au lac l'âne a bu l'eau, the useful things are the A and the U, because the O sound. In fact, this is one of the useful things I've kind of overlooked. It's the fact that the AU sound and the EAU sound both are pronounced in the same way in French. So O and O. Okay? In fact, see the reflection there from my light. Even the letter O in French is pronounced in the same way as these two words which you find in that last one, O and O. So if you need to say water, l'eau. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send this video to the members of my club, and hopefully you can enjoy some of the exercises, and also the last or the extra 5 tongue twisters that you get. If you like, you can send me samples of you pronouncing them for me, and I'll give you my feedback. If you know any other good tongue twisters, please let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you find difficult or what you enjoy pronouncing or studying with this kind of content, because it is quite fun, and it's also something that you can you can tell your French friends and see if they understand, and if they understand, alors vous avez bien compris, c'est super. So let's just start. Let's just finish with le bébé de René regarde le nez de son père et tête le lait de sa mère. Un chasseur sachant chasser sait chasser sans son chien. Hopefully when you're hearing these you're like, oh yeah, I know what she's saying. La poule pousse la petite poupée partout. As-tu été à Tahiti? And lastly, Kabulan au lac lan a bu l'eau. Merci beaucoup et à la prochaine fois. Au revoir.